I'm Lady Charmaine, and my guest today was a former interim national chair of the Democratic National Committee, as well as the former chair of the DNC Voting Rights Institute. And she is here today to talk about her bombshell new book, Hacks Inside the Story of the Break-ins and Breakdowns That Put Trump in the White House. Help me welcome to the Lady Charmaine Live Show, Miss Donna Brazile. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor and pleasure to talk to you today.
Well, you know, Miss Brazile, you wrote a bombshell of a book. I got a chance to read some of the excerpts, and the only thing I can do as I was reading was, oh my goodness. I mean, that is how your book leaves. I'm sure everybody, but I know that's how your book left me. Oh my goodness, as I'm reading the excerpts. And I wanted to ask you, please tell us about the moment when you chose to write this book and you said to yourself, I am unapologetically going to tell my side of this story.
You know, the poet Maya Angelou once said that there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. I had a story inside of me that had to come out because it was impacting the way in which I saw life going forward. The new norm in American politics is what I call cyber espionage. I became chair for the second time in my adult life as a result of the hacking that took place in 2016. When the election was over with, everybody went back to their respective corners of their homes, and I had to stay in the DNC to not just, close down the operation, pay all of the bills, pay the staff, but I also had to rebuild a house that had fallen apart during the election. I made a personal decision that the Clinton campaign would write the final story or write the final chapter of 2016. And when it became very clear that her staff would not write that story, I decided to write that story. So this is the story from the chair of the Democratic National Committee, not the staff, but the chair. And I was chair of not just the presidential efforts, but the efforts of Democrats who ran for city council or state lawmakers. And so this is the story of someone who spent almost 100% of my time focusing on electing Democrats, but also dealing with the foreign meddling of our election.
Now, I know you were friends with Bernie Sanders, and you made Bernie Sanders a promise, and you said that you would uncover the truth. So I wanted to know, when you decided to make that promise to Bernie, and so you and Bernie had, I'm sure, a very close relationship, and do you feel that you fulfilled that promise to Bernie, and what were your findings?
Yes, I did. I've known both Secretary Clinton as well as Bernie Sanders for well over 3 decades. For Secretary Clinton, I met her during the time I was a consultant and worked at the Children's Defense Fund. For Bernie Sanders, I met him during the first historic campaign led by the Reverend Jesse Jackson. I respected both of them. I wanted to support all of the Democratic candidates, including Martin O'Malley, the former governor of the great state of Maryland, and Lincoln Chafee, the former senator from Rhode Island, and Jim Webb, the former senator of Virginia. So my job as the vice chair at that time was to ensure that all of the candidates had a seat at the table, not just one. And so I felt obligated, as I promised Bernie and his supporters at the convention, that I would seek the truth. I would find out if there was any bias, any rigging, anything that would unsettle the party. What I did find was disturbing. I said it disappointed me, and that is, in addition to the joint fundraising agreement that often the presidential campaigns sign up, it's like it's almost like a contract to raise money so that you can build out state operations across the country. Well, beyond that, I found another agreement, and this agreement was a staff-to-staff that allowed the Clinton campaign to take over certain functions in exchange for helping the DNC get out of debt. The reason why it disturbed me was because the Clinton campaign took on this responsibility and did not inform the other officers, but also they had not secured the nomination. So I applaud them for helping us raise money, but the caveat or the asterisk was they took over the operations.
Now, what can the DNC do to ensure that a future candidate does not have this power, the ability to be able to do that again?
Well, the good news is that the Unity Commission that was set up at the convention. Chairman Tom Perez appointed members to the commission this year. Mm-hmm. They met a few weeks ago, and they have come up with some great recommendations that they have made to the Rules and Bylaws Committee. These recommendations will ensure transparency, will ensure that the integrity of the DNC is never compromised, and most importantly, it would ensure that every candidate will continue to have a voice at the table without any interference from any of the officers. So I applaud the DNC for taking those steps. Some of my friends have said, Donna, thank you for writing the book, Hacks, because we now know that we have to make these changes. This was not a very easy task. Nobody wants to write and tell folks that there's some stain on your clothes or your laundry is still dirty. But I believe as a longtime activist and advocate for democratic principles as well as the Democratic Party, it was my job to, get this truth out so that people can take prudent steps to not just clean up the party, but we need to take the other steps to clean up our democracy. Because if the Russians can come and do this in 2016 with social media, we're trying to hack into our election system, our voter registration system, and of course one major political party. Imagine if the North Koreans or someone else. This is not a call to arms or a call to war. It's a call to protect our democracy from any foreign meddling.
And that is so true. And since you wrote this book, what has your life been like? Because you told a lot in this book, also dealing with Seth Rich. And then I also read that there was a lawsuit that was filed back in October against Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee. And he also added you to the lawsuit using the words in your book against you. Did you realize that this book would open up a can of worms?
You know what? No, I first of all, after the Gore campaign, when I served as campaign manager, I wrote a book called Cooking with Grease, Stirring the Pots in American Politics. And I made it clear to people who know me and people who don't know me, because I wrote my history, I've been involved in politics since the age of 9. I didn't get involved in politics just to support a candidate. I got involved in politics because I love democracy, because I believe in justice and freedom, because I will walk the walk and talk the talk. And I didn't get involved in politics to be what I call an ass kisser. I don't get involved just to satisfy someone else. 99.9% of the time, people call me and say, Donna, I need your help. Mm-hmm. Donna, I want you to raise money. Donna, I want you to come in and register voters. And because of that role that I played over the last 40 plus years of my life, I have maintained my integrity and maintaining my calling to be that voice in the room that's not afraid to speak truth to power.
Well, Miss Donna, I want to thank you so much. And briefly, you're going to be here in Sacramento in January. So can you tell us about that briefly?
1968 was the year that Dr. King was murdered. This 2018 represents the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's assassination. I'm coming to Sacramento to speak with the lawmakers in California about the need to hurry history, to not go back, but to go forward in the way that Dr. King wanted us to. The night before his death, he said, I've been to the mountaintop. Well, it's time for us to have a mountaintop moment as a country, to find ways for us to come together, to find ways for us to promote civility and justice and equality for all. So I come speaking about the man who inspired me and about the dream that should inspire others to serve.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, make sure you go to the bookstores and pick up Donna Brazile's new book, Hacks. It's the inside story of the break-ins and breakdowns that put Donald Trump in the White House. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Ms. Brazile.
Bless you, bless everyone during the holiday season. Remember, it's about hope and joy. And when I'm in Sacramento, if you have a copy of my book, I would be proud to sign it. And I just want to tell all of you, love you, blessings for the new year, good health and happiness to all.
Wonderful. Thank you. And if you want to hear the re-airing of this show, all you have to do is go to Praise 98 FM, praise98fm.com tomorrow at 2 p.m. to check out the re-airing of Miss Donna Brazile. And don't forget to pick up the book Hacks, the inside story of the break-ins and breakdowns that put Donald Trump in the White House. You're listening to the Lady Charmaine Live Show. Thank you so much for watching.